I'm Riley,
And I'm Roni,
and this is the Plan to Eat podcast.
where we have conversations about meal planning, food, and wellness to help you answer the question, what's for dinner?
Hello, and welcome to the Plan to Eat podcast. Today, we are talking about funny food holidays. I feel like I should be doing air quotes on the holidays thing because they're not real holidays, but they sure are fun.
Yeah, so funny food holidays are, those days when Dunkin' Donuts or whatever is like, it's donut day, come and get a donut. Or I don't know, just like the random things where they're like, it's chocolate chip cookie day, and you feel like you should eat a chocolate chip cookie that day. I'm pretty sure these were just invented to sell us more food, right?
Oh, yeah, for sure. I did a bit of research on the history of these fun food holidays. The United States recognizes only 10 days as national holidays, and they're like Christmas, Independence Day, days like that. But sometimes national days were created by a presidential proclamation or a resolution in the House or Senate. For example, on July 9th, 1984, President Ronald Reagan signed Proclamation 5119 declaring National Ice Cream Day. And he said it was nutritious and wholesome. Other Reagan proclamations, I think he was into the sweets. Well, I guess maybe into the food holidays, but he also included National Frozen Food Day, Catfish Day, some other things like that.
Wow,
That's probably like
Catfish
his
Day.
favorite things. Yeah, yeah, Catfish Day. So, but I think when I was doing a bit of research on that, the majority of them were like short lived. It was like this year on this day, today's National Ice Cream Day, but it wasn't like a long term commitment of like forever, this is going to be ice cream day.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Yeah. But somehow this has caught on. Most of them have been made up by random people. Different states will do these kinds of things and like vote on them. You can send in a suggestion and then like these committees will vote on them. Pretty funny. But most of the history of this is very like lighthearted. It's nothing serious, and most of it's not really real, which is why when we were talking earlier and I said this should be in air quotes, no, but they're really fun. So I think that it is an excuse to, I don't know, just have a little bit of fun. So there's this
Yeah.
guy in Alabama. He created a Twitter/website called Foodimentary, and it compiles national holidays and he tweets about them. His name is John Brian Hopkins. He's the one who runs Foodimentary. Um, and he admits to making up several of them himself, including Tater Tot Day, National Whiskey Day, and a few others to like fill in his whole calendar since it's kind of like the thing behind what he does. If he said, I'd wake up in the morning and realize I didn't have anything for the blog that day. And I'd think, what can I make today?
Well, I wonder if he's a kid of the 90s because I think all of us 90s kids appreciate National Tater Tot Day.
Yeah. When I saw that one's on the list. And when I saw that one, I thought, that's pretty funny. I don't remember what day of the year it was. I'll have to look back at the list and see what day it was, but totally a 90s kid kind of thing.
Yeah. Well, we certainly want to get into some of the national food holidays, quote unquote, for April. But maybe before we do that, let's go into why we're even talking about this today, because this seems like a little bit of a random podcast episode. But Riley and I just thought that this was a really fun way to try new recipes, to get some inspiration for your meal plan. And just, we talk about the idea of using, like different listicles to find new recipes, like if you're looking for crock pot recipes or sheet pan recipes or whatever, there's lots of lists online of all of those kinds of recipes that you can easily, if you're using Plan to Eat, add to your Plan to Eat account and then plan those on your meal plan. But this just was something that I hadn't ever thought of before as a way to inspire myself to try new recipes. So I think it's really fun and it's pretty creative.
I mean, I think a lot of what you and I talk about on the podcast is motivating people to stick to their meal plans, to meal plan at all. And so the inspiration for this is that there are these lists out there. And if you are feeling very low motivation, like this is something to inspire you. That's kind of really fun. Now, a lot of these are sweets. So
Yeah.
a lot of them, may not help you make a breakfast, lunch, and dinner plan for your family or for yourself. But I think it just is a unique way to get you out of a rut.
Yeah,
And a lot of them focus on seasonal things, which I think will also help you stick to kind of a seasonal eating style.
totally. Yeah, there's lots of recipes that are based around fruit, like when cherries are in season, there's National Cherry Day. When blueberries are in season, National Blueberry Day, that kind of stuff. Yeah, I mean, certainly a lot of them are related to sweets. I think, because we just all love desserts, right? But I think that this is a really fun way to, this it's a springtime right now, but I think this is a really fun thing that you could incorporate in the summer in particular. If you have kids, you could go through like, okay, this week, what's like a funny food holiday and like what's a recipe we could make based off of that? It could be a fun way to get your kids involved in not only cooking, but in kind of that meal planning process too.
Yeah, and, if your kids, are out of school all summer, it's a really great way to like, if they can read, potentially sending them to a website where they can go and read the whole list and say, "Okay," you tell them 4 or 5 times a month, "We'll do this. So pick a day and we'll do it." It doesn't have to be an everyday kind of thing, but it inspires them to get excited about what they're making,
Yeah.
and then help you do it.
Yeah, and a lot of the things too, one of the ones in April is National Empanada Day, and so it's like it can also inspire you to maybe branch outside of recipes that you would normally make, maybe like expose your kids to recipes from different cultures that you're not that you wouldn't normally cook. So I think there's lots of benefits to just finding inspiration in all sorts of different places for new recipes.
Absolutely. I ran across, and I'll share these in a little bit, but one of them was like National Canning Day.
Yeah,
And I don't remember what time of year that one was, so it may be a trickier thing, but that's like science. That's a whole experiment, particularly if you, as the person who's, guiding children with canning, if you don't know how to do it, then you got to learn too. So that's a whole learning experience for both you and your children. It also could be a really cool way to connect with grandparents who may know how to can. And I mean, this is just one example, but that is not even that's not like cooking a meal you're going to eat right then. It's more of like a we're going to prepare for the future kind of
right.
situation. I mean, that's what it is. And so getting grandparents involved, or maybe even neighbors or family friends who actually know how to do that, because I think that's it's a loss. We're losing that art. Um,
Mhm.
and so it could be also kind of a community oriented kind of thing.
Yeah, I love that way of looking at it. I hadn't thought about that, but I really like that idea of taking the idea of learning a new cooking skill or a new technique and making it more community driven process rather than just being like, I'm gonna Google how to do this, figure it out, which is great too, YouTube
Yeah.
University.
Oh, absolutely. In a lot of my research, a lot of them were driven by companies to try to encourage purchasing, right?
Sure.
But I think if you look at it with this lens of, okay, it's Oreo Day. How about you try to make your own? Like that kind of
Ooh,
thing.
yeah.
Or it's National Rotisserie Chicken Day, which, okay, obviously is not like a brand in and of itself, but can you make one at home? Do you have an air fryer? Can you do an Instant Pot one? I don't really know. Could you do it in a Dutch oven? Like these kinds of things, just inspirational. It doesn't have to mean that you always are going to go purchase something.
Yeah.
But in that same vein of community oriented, if your local restaurant or coffee shop or ice cream shop is doing a free scoop that day, maybe you go and do something like that. It's kind of supporting that business, particularly if they're doing it, then they're willing to give out the free ice cream.
Right.
But just kind of doing something fun in your local community.
Yeah. It's not necessarily local, but on July 11th, you can get a free Slurpee at 7-Eleven because it's
Oh,
7-Eleven day,
yeah, yeah. Which is just fun. And I
which is
think I
just
think
fun.
that
Yeah.
yes. Going back to the overarching theme of this podcast and these holidays is that it's just about fun. And I just don't know who doesn't need an excuse to have more fun.
Right. Yeah. Particularly when it comes to, like, food and being in the kitchen. Um, we've talked before about how making dinner every single night is, like, practically part of work for the whole day, it's like a part of your
Yeah.
work week, and so I think adding a little more fun and a little bit of extra creativity in the kitchen is never a bad idea.
Yeah, I totally agree. So since it's April, I think if we can hang, I'm gonna read you all of them. You think you can hang for that?
I think we can hang. Let's do it.
All right. April 1st, National Sourdough Bread Day. Another experiment you could do with your family.
Yeah.
Yeah. April 2nd is both Love Your Produce Manager Day and National Peanut Butter and Jelly Day. April 3rd, Chocolate Mousse Day. April 4th, Cordon Bleu Day. April 5th, Caramel Day, depending on where you're from. What do you say?
I say caramel,
Ugh, I say caramel.
but
I
I'm
can't
like a
even say
Westerner, so
caramel is like the most strange word coming out of my mouth.
caramel feels very decadent to me. Like I'm like, ooh, I guess if I'm okay, I guess here's the thing. If it's like a caramel sauce, then it, like that's different from a caramel candy, like a caramel salted, like a sea salt caramel or something. To me, they're different in my brain. I don't know.
This is one of those situations where we should just go Google and see what Google tells us the pronunciation is, but
I don't want to be wrong.
yeah, but we won't veer off. So Caramel Day is April 5th. Also on April 5th is Raisin and Spice Bar Day.
Interesting.
A lot of these have duplicates, so I'm going to read them
Yeah.
both just because it's fun. April 6th is Twinkie Day, and here we go again, Caramel Popcorn Day. Okay, I promise I'm not going to do that every time I see that word. I'll say it just the way I say it. April 7th is Burrito Day and Coffee Cake Day. April 8th, National Empanada Day. April 9th, Chinese Almond Cookie Day. April 10th, National Cinnamon Crescent Day. April 11th, National Cheese Fondue Day. That's a great day.
Yeah.
April 12th is National Licorice Day and Grilled Cheese Sandwich Day.
I'm into that day.
You and me both. April 13th is Make Lunch Count Day. I'm not sure what that means,
I'm gonna
but it's
Google
all
it, but keep
okay.
going through your list. We'll
But
circle
it's
back.
okay. But it's also National Peach Cobbler Day. April 14th is National Pecan Day. April 15th is McDonald's Day. April 15th is also National Glazed Spiral Ham Day. April 16th is Day of the Mushroom. It is also National Eggs Benedict Day. I think that you have something to tell me, so why don't you jump in?
On April 13th, we have an opportunity to break a trend that has been occurring around the country by joining National Make Lunch Count Day. Many workers eat lunch at their desk at least twice a week, while 1/3 have lunch at their desk every day of the week. Don't fear lunching out any longer.
Well, I
Uh,
do think that a lunch break is intended to be a break. And
Yeah.
so the downside of eating at your desk is that you're not stopping. And that means you're not thinking about what you're eating and that whole thing.
Yeah. So oh, by the way, this article is from nationaldaycalendar.com. So it's explaining what this national day is. Yeah, so it's basically explaining that your brain and your body needs a break from work. And when you return after your lunch break, you'll be more refreshed and have new ideas. The observance of National Make Lunch Count Day is to help American workers increase their creativity and productivity. So, ways to observe National Make Lunch Count Day: join your coworkers and enjoy a real lunch with a stimulating conversation. Basically, get away from your desk and go eat lunch somewhere else. The end.
I like it.
Continue with the list.
I support that. Picking up on April 17th, we have National Cheese Ball Day and National Baked Ham with Pineapple Day. April 18th, Animal Cracker's Birthday. Animal Cracker's Birthday? Okay, you Google that one, Ronnie.
I'm going to Google that one too.
Okay. April 19th is Garlic Day. April 20th is both Lima Bean Respect Day, because the Lima beans don't get no respect, and National Pineapple Upside Down Cake Day. April 21st is National Chocolate Covered Cashews Truffle Day. That's a mouthful. April 22nd is National Jelly Bean Day. April 23rd, National Cherry Cheesecake Day. It is also National Picnic Day. April 24th is National Pigs in a Blanket Day. April 25th is National Zucchini Bread Day. April 26th is National Pretzel Day. On The Office, is that the day? That they have national is that the day
What
they have
I
pretzel day?
wonder if National Pretzel Day is actually Pretzel Day on The Office. That's a great question.
Oh, yeah.
All right, we're gonna have to also Google that.
April 27th is National Prime Rib Day. April 28th is National Blueberry Pie Day. April 29th is National Shrimp Scampi Day. And April 30th is National Raisin Day.
Oh, the Dunderpedia says that while National Pretzel Day is celebrated on April 26th, the actual date of Pretzel Day in the office is unknown.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
let's just assume.
Yeah, I'm gonna think that it's the same.
Well, that's a pretty good list. And I do think it's pretty well rounded in that there's days that are, sweet, there's days that are savory, there's days that are actually getting you to do something different, like
Lima
picnic
bean
day,
respect day.
lima bean respect day. Yeah, but like also National Picnic Day.
Yeah, of
It's
course.
it's you pick the food, but go have a picnic. You know,
Right,
those kinds of things on the list are really fun to me. And they do get you kind of out of your house, but out of your ruts or whatever, that kind of thing.
right, yeah. I mean, I like that there's so much variety in here, like National Cordon Bleu Day. Like, if you've never made cordon bleu before, what a great
Yeah.
day to try it out. Yeah, or like, uh, zucchini bread day. I'm sure
Yeah.
most people have made zucchini bread before, but if you haven't, what a great day to try it on.
Yeah, I wanna mention really quick that this list came from julieho.com, and we'll link to that in the show notes. All of the rest of the dates that we're gonna talk about today are from her list, but I did not want to move on without giving her a shout out.
So one thing that actually wasn't on this list, because I think the day might change every year. In 2022, it was April 27th. In 2023, it's April 26th. National Stop Food Waste Day. It's the largest single day of action to fight against food waste, and it was started in 2019 by Compass Group USA. It's now recognized globally in every corner of the world to help educate and unite change against food waste.
I love that. That is something that we are so excited about. It's something that we really, like, would love to be more involved with, but we know that just meal planning can help you stop food waste
Right.
because you're buying what you actually need, you're actually cooking it, assuming you're sticking to your meal plan, and that automatically is helping you eliminate food waste, which is a really big deal.
I think the thing that I like the most about this initiative is it's not just on an individual level. Like the focus is on like food waste as far as like companies go, as far as agriculture goes. There's lots of steps in that chain where food is wasted. It's not just when it comes to your house, goes from, like the field or the farm all the way through to your house. So everything in between the grocery store, the trucks, all of those processes. So I think it's really cool that there are some initiatives out there that are trying to help it in the entire, food chain process.
Absolutely. Yeah, because there's a lot you can do as an individual, but it's certainly a problem that it kind of transcends that.
Yeah.
All right, Ronnie. I went through every month of the year besides April, and I picked some that stood out to me.
Okay. I want to hear about them because I have a couple that stood out to me too.
Oh, okay. Awesome. All right. So, January, National Milk Day, January 11th. This is the day that milk deliveries in bottles began in the US. And
Oh,
I did not
cool.
fact check that, but I just thought that was a really exciting thing.
Yeah.
January 31st is National Pho Day. So that Vietnamese or Saigonese soup with noodles and things like that. I love that. And so I was excited to see that it had its own day. February. Okay, Ronnie, you're going to love this one. February 5th is Ice Cream for Breakfast Day.
Yes.
Yep, love that. February 22nd is National Cook a Sweet Potato Day because I really wanted to give you guys a full picture of these lists because it's not just sweets. The first one in February is telling you to eat breakfast of ice cream, and the other one is to cook a sweet potato. But, the list is pretty well rounded.
It's funny to me that it's cook a sweet potato and not eat a sweet potato. I understand that a sweet potato is not something you eat raw, but because of that, I wouldn't think that it needed to be specified that it has to be cooked.
Right, like, it could just be cooked or it could be National Sweet Potato Day.
Yeah, exactly.
Consume as desired.
Yeah.
Okay, March is National Pack Your Lunch Day. That's March 10th. I thought that one was a great one
Yeah.
because I'm just thinking about New Year's resolutions that people may have had this year and maybe spending less on eating out because I know so many people who work in offices and they just end up out to eat because they didn't have time to pack their lunch or whatever.
Right.
But I thought March 10th, that's a good one. I know we're way past that at this point, but just having a day to kind of say, okay, remember, pack your lunch today.
Mhm.
Get back on the bandwagon of your resolution or whatever. I thought that was fun. And then March 31st is Oranges and Lemons Day.
I wanted to mention one in March as well, which is
Yeah.
March 28th, which is Eat Something on a Stick Day,
Oh,
which
that's
I
so
just
funny.
really love. It could be popsicles, it could be corn dogs. You could have like a cocktail skewer with shrimp and stuff on it. You could make kebabs. There are so many things that I
Yeah.
could think of that could be eaten on a stick on March 28th.
A marshmallow that you roast over a fire. I mean,
Yeah,
you could use a little stick for that.
exactly.
That's fun. I like that one a lot.
Yeah, me too.
And again, it's that versatility of like that day can become whatever you want it to be. I
Right.
mean, I just made some teriyaki skewers not too long ago. And so like that's the same thing. They were on, skewers of that.
Yep.
So May 11th is Eat What You Want Day. Which I think is funny because there's no real suggestion here.
Right.
But if there's something you've been craving, put that on your meal plan, cook it and make it. Or
Totally.
maybe that's the day you go eat at your favorite takeout place, like whatever it is. Like that's kind of just a fun way to meal plan. June 2nd, I have National Rotisserie Chicken Day, which I mentioned earlier. And then June 30th is National Ice Cream Soda Day.
Ooh.
July. Okay, July 1st is Creative Ice Cream Flavor Day. Now, I have a lot to talk about here.
Okay.
There is there's an ice cream shop. I know it's on the West Coast, and apparently they have one in Florida too, and it's called Salt and Straw. Have you ever heard of it?
Oh, yeah, I had one time when I went to Portland, I had
Yep.
salt and straw ice cream, yeah.
Yes, I had it when I was in Seattle. My parents, they lived in Seattle for a while, and they were huge fans. But this ice cream shop is not like a normal ice cream shop. They have
Right.
incredibly seasonal flavors, and by that I mean think Thanksgiving, and they have an ice cream with cornbread in it or something crazy like that. It's a pretty wild, little ice cream shop, but it's kind of one of those places that has just grown and grown and grown in popularity. It's the kind of place you wanna go and sample everything. Just, like, get a little tiny spoon and sample them all. Some of them, I feel like they scare me as ice cream flavors, if I'm being honest. Think pear and blue cheese.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, yeah. But they do have some really, wonderful sounding ones to me, but I'm a sweet, sweet ice cream person, and not by, like, doubly sweet. I just mean the thought of having something savory in my ice cream is a very strange concept to my brain.
Yeah. I think it's one of those situations like, I'm thinking pear and blue cheese. Like, I know particularly, like, what blue cheese tastes like outside of a sweet context, and
Yeah.
so the thought of putting it into something sweet is like, I'm not sure that I would like that.
I don't apply the same concept to, like, a bacon-wrapped date with blue cheese in the middle,
Mhm.
but that's also kind of sweet. I mean, you can also make those sweeter because some people
That's
put
true.
brown sugar on them, things like that. But I think that it's, like, cold, creamy with blue cheese. Something about that throws me off. Um, but their classic flavors include things like strawberry honey balsamic with black pepper. That's another one. I'm much less cautious about that one.
Yeah.
Honey lavender, mint chocolate chip, sea salt with caramel ribbons, chocolate gooey brownie. But this place is a pretty I don't know, it's just epic. That's what I think about it. It's epic. I know they have a cookbook that you can get and you can get recipes for a lot of their crazy flavors, but it created a real, I don't know, cult following is I think probably the right way to talk about it.
Mhm.
Just people who are into it, and it is just like a special place. Like it's probably on every list for Seattle and for Portland, and I guess maybe Florida of like places you have to go while you're visiting those areas.
Yeah.
Well, that's all I had for that, but I'm a big ice cream fan. So July 15th is National Gummy Worm Day. I also love gummy worms. Okay, let's move to August. August 8th. This is a fun one. Sneak zucchini onto your neighbor's porch night. But what a fun thing to do with your kids. Like, what if you have an amazing garden that is just prolific? I mean, I feel like zucchini is one of those vegetables that always is prolific. People I know
Oh,
who grow
yeah.
zucchini, they have, like, hundreds of them.
Yeah, you don't even need an amazing garden. You just have 1 zucchini plant and you have enough to feed 25 people.
Yeah, so I love the idea of just going to a neighbor or a friend's house and just putting a little basket with a note on their porch. It's like, "Here's some zucchini."
Yeah, that's cute.
Yeah, a really fun one to do with kids, I think, because you can make it all stealthy and, like, sneaky, sneaky.
Yeah.
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 August 10th is National S'mores Day. Okay, moving into September. September 2nd, is both Grits for Breakfast Day and Blueberry Popsicle Day.
Mm.
And then September 13th is Kids Take Over the Kitchen Day, which sounds a tad frightening, but it's a great way to empower your children who are of an age where you feel confident to go in and make the meals. And I feel like that would be really fun for them. Plan it. You could even help them go shopping for it and then, cook or help them cook depending on their age or, like ability level.
Right.
But that one was a really fun one to me.
So there's a September because this list is arbitrary. September 13th is actually one of the days that has multiple holidays on one day. So not only is it Kids Take Over the Kitchen Day, it's also International Chocolate Day, not just national.
Mm.
National Peanut Day and Snack a Pickle Time. You heard that right? Snack a Pickle Time. How to observe Snack a Pickle
Got
Time?
it. Please tell me how to observe. I felt really like I didn't know what to say
This day should be observed by snacking on a pickle.
at any time, not just at a specific time.
Yeah. Pickles can be eaten on their own or with a meal. They could be put on a hamburger, chopped into a relish, put on a hot dog. Sometimes they're served on a stick. Sometimes they're even deep fried. So maybe in March, you also have a pickle on a stick day. I don't know. That kind of didn't sound right.
Well, if you love pickles, I don't think that you need an excuse to snack on a pickle, but it is a great day to do that. And I'm so excited that it's also September 13th.
I'm excited September. So that's actually my husband's birthday, and he really likes pickles. So I think this year for his birthday, I'm just going to give him a huge jar of pickles, maybe.
That's funny. That's a great idea. And you know what I'm thinking about, Ronnie, right now. You know, I'm thinking about the time we were in Philadelphia and I got pickles
You got so
from
many
the
pickles.
it's like an Amish pickle company.
I think so, yeah. In the Reading terminal station, Riley got like a whole pint of pickles 2 hours before we were supposed to go to the airport.
Like, I
And then we were
really
just
like
walking
pickles.
around Philadelphia and she was eating these spicy pickles and like her mouth was on fire the whole time and it was really funny.
It
It's a
was
good
not my best, like, I didn't think that one through quite like I should have. Mostly the "we're about to fly out" thing. I'm just
Yeah,
like, "What do
that's
I
the
do with
yeah,
these pickles?" Yeah.
exactly.
Okay, well, too funny. Alright, October. October 23rd is National Canning Day, which I mentioned earlier. October 31st is Caramel Apple Day. Caramel Apple Day. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it the whole time. November 3rd, National Men Make Dinner Day. Did you
Ooh,
see that one?
okay. No, I
Yeah,
like that.
I like that one. And then I have another one. November 25th or the day after Thanksgiving, depending on what day that falls. Sinky Day. And because that doesn't feel like a familiar thing coming out of my mouth, I'm going to spell it Sinkie. Sinky Day.
What's a sinky?
A sinky day or dine over your kitchen sink day.
Oh,
Yes. I was as confused as you were. I looked into it a bit more. It is the day after Thanksgiving, and it is especially for those of us whom leftovers taste much better when eaten over the sink. I thought that one was hilarious.
all right, okay.
All right, December, rounding it out, finalizing it. December 4th, National Cookie Day. December 30th, Bacon Day. And another funny one, December 30th is also National Bicarbonate of Soda Day or Baking Soda Day. What? I know. I thought that one was pretty funny, so I
That
had to
one's
include
really
it.
funny.
So that's the list. Those are my favorites. That was all of April's list and a smattering of others.
Well, this has been really fun. I think even just if nothing else, I think just, reading through some of these recipe lists, whether or not they give you recipe inspiration, they're certainly going to give you a chuckle because
Yeah.
some of these are fun. Also, I'm thinking about with your kids, just like Riley and I did in this, like we went and found days that we thought were funny and we kind of researched them and found what was interesting about them. So, that could be fun things to do with your kids as well. Be like, what's Sinky Day and why would we do that?
Yeah. I could imagine a kid doing a project on something like this, like essentially the podcast we just put together, but doing more research on, what these days, how they came about, or like what they actually mean, like Sinky Day, and doing like a presentation on it. I could see that being really fun. I
Yeah,
would have done that as a kid.
totally.
Well, I guess that's all I've got for you.
Do we want to round out this episode with talking about a recipe real quick?
Sure.
Okay, so a recipe that I ate recently that I really want to share is a turkey cubano sandwich. We recently roasted or we recently smoked an entire turkey. And with some of the leftovers, we made cubano sandwiches. If you're not familiar, cubano sandwich, it has like mustard, Swiss cheese. Usually you have at least ham on it. We had ham and turkey, put pickles on it. And then, I think everybody does it just slightly differently. But this recipe called for a panini press. We don't have a panini press. So I just like broiled them in the oven, which got them nice and crispy, but like didn't over crisp the bread. And they were delicious and so easy to make, particularly when you already have, like you could just use deli meat for the sandwiches, but it's kind
Yeah.
of like an upgraded ham sandwich.
Yeah, this is something we've talked about on the podcast before, but these, quote unquote simple sandwiches
Hmm.
can really feel like you're kind of up leveling your meal pre
Totally. Yeah.
Cubana, Reuben's,
Rubens. Yeah.
yeah, things like that. Yeah, or like an Italian grinder or something like that.
Yeah.
Feels a little more special, yeah.
What
All
about
right,
you?
so the recipe that I am excited to share, which I haven't actually eaten yet, I'm gonna be honest, I'm making it tonight. It's hibachi steak and fried rice, but just a really easy version that you get to make at home. Yeah, I'm making it with ribeye. You marinate it in soy sauce and oil and garlic and ginger and honey and things like that. And then you make fried rice with frozen veggies and traditional fried rice things like eggs and garlic and things like that. So I'm really excited to try it. I got this recipe from Hungry Happens, and it looked really good on Instagram. So I'm excited to try it.
Cool. Well, we will link to those recipes in the show notes. You can also find them on the Plan to Eat podcast Plan to Eat account, you can find at planteat.com/PTEPOD. And thanks for listening to today's episode.